let's jump straight into the next game on 3, 2, 1, go.
Wait. No, I'm not ready.
Oh, okay.
Bail. Bail. Get it back to 0-0.
I'm at 0 seconds, no worries.
All right, count me down, Rez. Count me down.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, now I will change the scene so everyone can see. And here we go.
All right, and
All right, guys.
here,
Go
you
ahead,
can do.
Rez.
Okay, all right, and we're into the next game here for the Battle of Angkor tournament. This is going to be TaToH versus Slam on the map Valley.
Yeah, that's right. And this is an elimination game as well. We're currently now in the lower bracket, which means whoever loses this game will be going home, leaving the tournament in 7th/8th position. Sadly, we already saw Fire eliminated earlier today. This tournament is pretty brutal, but before we know who's going to be eliminated, we're hopefully going to have another fantastic game of Age of Empires 2. TaToH here, playing in the red. He's playing as the Burmese. And in the blue, on the other side of the valley, we have Slam in the blue, yeah, playing as the Khmer.
Indeed, indeed. So this is also not going to be a mirror match. This is going to be Burmese versus Khmer. If you guys haven't seen the previous game, we will have that on our respective YouTube channels, and it's an absolute must-watch. That is going to be TaToH versus Nikov on Arabia. And this game I expect to also be quite good, as, yeah, it's not going to be a mirror match. Burmese versus Khmer. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I love seeing these non-mirror matches. It's definitely a plus. And I think we'll start to see more non-mirror matches as well, because we actually changed the way that the civs picks and bans happen. We actually make it now so that each player bans one civ, and then they have to choose one of the remaining civs that are left. So we should see more non-mirror matches. And Burmese versus Khmer. Now, we saw the Burmese in action last game. They were played very well by TaToH. But this time around, we're going to see the Khmer, and we're going to see them close up and personal.
So far, the only new civilization we have not seen so far is the Vietnamese, I believe. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, interesting, actually. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, the Vietnamese... I guess they've been banned because I think everyone's been banning the Vietnamese because they're genuinely a good civ. Especially when you consider these guys, these players, they all love their archers, right? These guys love making archers, they love making crossbows, they love the micro that comes with it. Look at Slam microing his scout to block this boar, for example. Like anything with a bit of micro, these guys are all over it. And the Vietnamese are a fantastic archer civilization. Their archery range units get 10% extra HP in Feudal, and then an extra 5% in Castle, and an extra 5% still in Imperial. It's very comparable to the Mayans with their plumed archers. What they don't get, really, is any eco bonus, I feel, and that might be the reason why they're losing out here.
Oh, definitely. And an interesting thing about the Vietnamese is that their extra HP applies to all archer range units. So that's archers, cavalry archers, and skirmishers, and the Vietnamese also get that Imperial Skirmisher is their secondary unique unit, which also benefits from that extra HP, which is quite nice. However, in this game, though, it is going to be Burmese versus Khmer. The Burmese are a fairly well-rounded civilization. They have a little bit of everything, although they do have an absolutely awful archer range in the late stages. And then we have the Khmer, which are a very, like, siege-oriented civilization with excellent elephants.
Yeah, and I really hope we see those elephants here. I mean, I totally think the Khmer possibly the best elephant civ, but also, I mean, they have good siege, but more specifically, they have good scorpions. And, you know, I feel like the scorpion is one of the most underused units in the game, and usually for good reason. The scorpions, 9 times out of 10, you see a scorpion, it's pretty underwhelming. But the Khmer have a few tricks up their sleeve to give their scorpions a much bigger kick. First of all, they strapped one to the back of an elephant, which isn't a bad idea, right? Certainly helps. And then they also have a technology which gives their scorpions a second projectile. So it's like a 2-for-1 when you shoot them, making them a lot stronger and certainly viable.
Now, double crossbow is a really fun, unique technology for the Khmer. So their unique unit is the Ballista Elephant, like Zach said, an elephant with a giant scorpion taped to its back, and then so what double crossbow does is it makes their regular scorpions and their ballista elephants shoot 2 projectiles. The second projectile kind of fans out in a narrow cone, and it deals reduced damage, but it's still a colossal DPS increase, and it also allows them to just hit a broader area of units. So it's a really fun, cool upgrade. And they also have their team bonus, which gives all Scorpions +1 range. So I would love to see some Scorpions here. Those bonuses might be enough to, certainly make them potent, at least in the later stages.
Oh, I agree completely, and I hope we see that. I would like to see that. Slam, though, off to a really good start, in my opinion. Contrary to what the score says, of course, as always. Slam here actually stealing a couple of cows from... Or if he didn't steal them, he certainly found them somewhere. And these cows are fantastic because they have 150 food. So they last a lot longer than a sheep. They have more food than a sheep. And... That's always a good thing. I think TaToH might even try and steal the cow back here. Good for him.
The cow is going to get denied though with that wall off, and yet it will get stolen back. So anyway, we're talking a little bit about Valley here for just a moment. Valley is it's a very interesting map. It's kind of like Arabia in that it's fairly open, so it can be kind of difficult to wall. That's of course not stopping Slam, as he is indeed walling up regardless. One of the reasons why this map is more aggressive than other maps is because there are so many deer in the middle. And that kind of drives players to try and take advantage of that by going for perhaps some sort of like aggressive 3 militia drush to try and take control of the middle. But it looks like Slam is going to be ignoring that entirely.
Yeah. Well, Rez, I mean, I was saying this earlier, but they've changed the map. I was saying, yeah, this is a really high aggressive map. Everyone wants to fight for the deer in the middle and the shallows in the middle. But then they added boar to the map, so no one has to leave their base. So in reality, the idea is that everyone's supposed to go for the middle and take the deer and fight for it. But in reality, everyone just stays at home, ignores the river, and just kind of plays a more defensive game, I guess, with walls, which is fine because this is actually one of the most viable walling maps of the map pack. Even though it doesn't look very wallable, it is still the most viable walling map. Arabia is typically less wallable, and Serengeti even less wallable still. And then you've got Water Nomad and Bog Islands, which are basically completely unwallable.
Yeah,
one way or another.
When you put it that way, actually, almost every map in the map pack is actually completely unwallable. So even though Valley is a relatively open map, this one is by far the most defensive. It's interesting that, yeah, I do remember that we added the 2 boars, but I still feel like you gain a pretty big advantage if you are able to get those deer, and Slam just kind of forfeiting them, so TaToH has access to all of them if he decides that he wants to take them. We'll have to see. He has a barracks down, but it looks like Slam just content. Okay, so he's putting down 2 archer ranges.
Yeah. I think the reason that we won't see them going for the deer is because of the cows as well. The cows have so much more food in them. So I mean, I think that the initial design of this map is flawed in the fact that you have a deer patch at home, you've got 2 boar, and you've got cows. Like, there's no reason to go there anymore, which is okay. And actually, I'm kind of glad because it does actually give us a more sort of later stage of the game. We get to the later stages of the game a little faster. Let's put it that way. Slam. Yeah, with the 2 archery ranges, like you said, and actually using his unique bonus here, which is
no barracks.
The fact that you build the barracks first. I like that.
Yeah, so the Khmer, one of their bonuses is that they actually have no building requirements to either advance the next age or to unlock other buildings. So Slam can actually skip the barracks here and put down 2 archer ranges and a blacksmith. I am at exactly 12 minutes in the game now, so he is able to do that. It saves some wood, which is actually quite a valuable bonus, but it does carry many meaningful drawbacks. If he decides that he needs that barracks later in response to cavalry units, he won't have that. Yeah, it's interesting, like you mentioned with the cows, that really the deer in the middle of the map actually don't have nearly as much value as you think with the boars and the cows.
Yeah.
Blacksmith coming down. These players, they're playing relatively defensively.
Yeah, I mean, no one really wants to go and initiate at the moment. And yeah, I mean, this is a good point. If you look at the situation right now, TaToH's blacksmith is actually later than Slam's because Slam didn't need to build a barracks before building the 2 ranges, which means he saved the wood, whereas TaToH had to build the barracks first, then the ranges, then the blacksmith. So TaToH actually going to have, Slam even, going to have fletching before TaToH actually even starts researching it. And that's kind of like a nice edge that the Khmer have, and that continues on throughout the game. That's not just this situation now. This is the case as the game draws out. The Khmer are going to keep having these kind of little situations where they can skip a building or skip something, and save themselves a little bit of wood. It's basically an eco bonus.
Oh yeah, and this is actually a particularly interesting situation as it looks like Slam opened up with mono skirmishers. I wonder if this is because he was predicting that archers just being a go-to defensive choice in a map such as this, which might give him an edge in these early fights, but he has to watch out for the hill advantage.
Yeah, I mean, two things about skirms really in this situation is that Slam definitely anticipated archers from TaToH, and I think he was right to do so anyway. The Burmese most likely to go for archers in the feudal age. But also, skirmishers are more viable now because the cost to upgrade them is less. The elite skirmisher upgrade has been reduced, and as a result, you can upgrade to elite skirmisher a lot easier, and it kind of makes it makes sense to mix them into your army now. And I like that because personally, I'm quite a fan of seeing mixed armies and stuff like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it creates significantly more variety, and what we want to do is we want to be offering players more choices to feel like they have opportunities for counterplay. And speaking of counterplay, these skirmishers are just turning out to be quite nice for Slam, but he is repelled as TaToH does have a hill and a slight army advantage. He did get some idle time on those 3 villagers that had to build that palisade wall and then engage in that fight. But right now, it looks like we've reached a little bit of a stalemate. Still nothing but skirmisher production for Slam, which will slightly slow down his castle time, but we'll have to see if that matters.
Yeah, I mean, arguably, I don't know. I think there's a case to be made that actually making skirms doesn't slow your castle time that much, because as a result of making skirmishers, you compensate by adding more farms, which means that once you do wheelbarrow, you're actually able to go castle relatively quickly still. But what's interesting to me at this stage is they've both done +1 defense, so it looks like they're in this for the long run anyway. It looks like they're going to be having quite a good feudal war here, and I'm a big fan of that, to be honest. If this continues and Slam continues adding a lot of skirms, it's actually a natural response for TaToH to consider adding in some scout cavalry.
Yeah, in an extended feudal war, mixing in a scout cavalry, that will actually be the thing that slows down your castle age time. But if the feudal war is going to go on for so long, then you might as well commit to that. I like this tower placement because this is going to be where a lot of the action is, protecting the stone, this gold. It kind of just zones Slam away from that, and he really doesn't want to engage when we have the hill advantage here for TaToH. And will Slam end up taking this fight? TaToH inching the line forward.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to engage uphill, especially now that tower's there as well. I mean, this is the thing about skirms, right? They're so good for defending, but when it comes to sending them out to attack, they are just so useless because they can't kill villagers. They do 1 damage per javelin to each villager, which means you need 40 hits to kill one, and that's just not good enough, I'm afraid. Slam, though, making nice use of this palisade gate here. I like that, and a bit of an engagement as well.
What timestamp are you at, by the way?
1805.
Okay, and I'm on exactly the same one, yes. Okay,
cool,
so...
yeah.
Oh, this is kind of a dicey situation for Slam. I like that we see that TaToH is actually camping this incredibly tiny hill, which is very difficult to see on HT. It's just 1 tile. Just camping that, trying to get a good engage. Gonna zone him back. Slam has literally no archers in his army, but TaToH has a couple of them.
He's not adding them either.
Yeah.
He's actually idling his archery ranges now and going for castle here. He's seeded a lot of farms. He's sending vills out to gold. And okay, now he's adding archers because he's a little late with the food. But if you could click up to castle earlier, he would have already clicked up. He's just lacking a little bit of gold right now. And it feels really stalematey at the moment. And personally, I like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what Slam could do is he could walk all the way around this forest and try and get in there, but that's a huge risk. Not only does he risk getting bottled inside TaToH's own base and losing his entire army, but he leaves himself defenseless. Even though these players have their walls, they do have to watch out for those archers, which are, of course, able to poke the wood line on the other side of it. And right now, Slam really not able to get in here and accomplish too much. Will TaToH move out?
Yeah, you know, I'm really curious about why he's going for full skirms here. I mean, I like it. It's good. I'm just really wondering what the thought behind it is. It's very Doubt-esque. It's very old school. And it's very Byzantine-esque as well. I mean, you'd expect this from, like, a Byzantine player. Wondering why he's going for this here. So far, I mean, it's not worked against him, that's for sure. But TaToH now actually pushing out as Slam clicks up to the castle age, and TaToH is yet to make that upgrade. And notice how Slam did not build the second feudal age building. He didn't need to build a market in order to go up. Oh, sorry, no. I messed that up anyway. He had an archery range and a blacksmith, so he had just 2 feudal buildings anyway.
But
he
did
wouldn't
skip the
have needed the blacksmith anyway.
Yes. But crucially, he did skip the barracks, and as we move on throughout the rest of the game, again, he still has no building requirements to advance the next ages. And here, I think it gave him a reasonably sizable early game boost, that 175 wood in the bank. Still, not too much progress here for Slam. He is on his way to the castle age. TaToH just clicked up now. neither player really content to engage, and TaToH doesn't want to leave this hill because it's so favorable to him with that watchtower and the elevation advantage.
Oh yeah. Absolutely, and I think right now TaToH has a larger army as well, so Slam doesn't want to fight this. Slam's going to wait for castle, wait for the upgrades, and then he might decide to push out. And in the meantime, I think that TaToH will have enough time to defend and get his own upgrades as well before Slam could be super effective. But let's see. I mean, Slam will be up first. He's still, I mean, not queuing archers right now. He's not queuing any archers. He's actually letting resources build up. And I'm wondering if he's just going to throw down a second TC or if he's going to go for a siege workshop and start making scorpions. Which I don't know if that's a good decision because of the huge number of skirms from TaToH, but let's see.
I find it fascinating that he is not queuing up additional units at his archer ranges. He did get the Elite Skirmisher upgrade immediately and the Bodkin Arrow, but he feels as though he doesn't need to spend those resources. He's putting down a university. Oh, is this for like an early ballistics? I wonder what his plan is.
Yeah, I think he's going straight for ballistics here. And, I mean, he's got a really good number of ranged units, so that's going to help. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's cool. I like this. It's just, you know, the 100% skirm strat. I've tried it many times, failed it more than I can remember, and this is where the skirms actually get pretty potent. We were saying before how they were so bad at raiding, but now they're elite, and now Bodkin Arrow is done. Yeah, these villagers should be scared, and quite rightly, TaToH retreating them from this wood line as Slam starts looping around, and basically TaToH just waiting now until Castle Age comes in and he can upgrade his own army before he fights. This could be bad. Could be very bad for TaToH here.
Yeah, TaToH fears the tech advantage. He is in the Castle Age right now, just desperately trying to stall so he can get an even footing with those upgrades. He's going to have to run away those lumberjacks, so we are getting some idle time on that economy. As soon as he gets those upgrades, I imagine that he'll engage and Slam will be boxed in, unable to retreat.
Oh, run,
we'll
TaToH, run!
Oh, no!
Man, TaToH right now going for the siege workshop. It makes so much sense, but 2 villagers already down. Slam having a good effect with this raiding. But yeah, TaToH's now castle, and we're just waiting. Those upgrades are going to come any second now. But bear in mind, Slam has just researched ballistics, so this fight could really help Slam.
And what's
that could really help Slam. Sorry.
He's got the ballistics upgrade, which means now TaToH will not be able to juke those shots as effectively. A little bit of a dicey engagement here. Slam loses 1 elite skirmisher. By the way, hello, Joe, in the chat. See you there. And it looks like... So the Mangonel is going to be basically the great equalizer in this situation. But right now we see the battle happening without that Mangonel coming down. That was a pretty close engagement. Plus 2 defense for Slam, really allowing him to just come out on top. And now TaToH on the back foot.
Yeah, and TaToH, every time he retreats, he's losing more units as well. So he's got to be very careful with these positioning of his units here. The Mangonel coming out, though, I mean, against skirmishers, it's going to destroy them. Although, actually, tell a lie, since they have plus 2 defense, they can actually tank a Mangonel shot. Because they have 35 HP plus 6 pierce armor, which means that they can actually tank this unless it's downhill. Which means the Mangonel isn't as effective as it would be without that plus 2. They would die without it, but, you know, still, a Mangonel is going to do huge damage, and it doesn't have to kill units to be effective. It can still just do huge damage, and then the rest of TaToH's army can clean it up.
So here's what's really sick about Age of Empires 2, besides almost everything, is that TaToH has used his house to, of course, box in Slam's army. You see this happen all the time, putting down a town center on this gold. He does not want Slam to escape. This Mangonel moving in, it's inevitable that Slam gets trapped in a corner unless he can think of something. And out micro TaToH here and take out that Mangonel. He's got to juke this really carefully, but he's walking into range. Will there be a Mangonel shot?
It misses. It misses. Ooh. He's got another one coming out, though, and this is the thing. You're totally right. Slam is getting walked into a corner here. TaToH with the second Mangonel is almost guaranteed to take that army out, but Slam on the front with a few raiding scams might be able to distract TaToH's attention. I don't know, but for now, wide stance for Slam. He knows the score, and TaToH going to be trying to pin him in there. He knows he's there. He knows he's got no escape. And with that, he can actually rest kind of easy. This is kind of peace of mind for TaToH now. He knows where Slam's army is. And, you know, that's a really nice thing to have in this game. Knowing where your opponent is. It gives you such a good feeling.
That it does. All he has to do is just patrol his troops in this area, and then he has nothing to worry about. He is walking up to that Mangonel that has the hill, but the Mangonel will not attack yet. You know this is a good game at Age of Empires 2 when you use the phrase raiding skirms. Slam trying to apply some pressure at the front.
You don't say raiding skirms very often. Slam here actually adding in his third TC now and starting to switch more crossbows into his army. I like that. But this is a kind of a pincer here. Slam, he's got to make a move.
Oh.
Nice split.
Wow.
Great micro from Slam there. Well calculated, well timed, and duking that first shot. Fantastic from Slam. Great micro.
Yeah, that was a truly excellent split, making use of the formation change on his army to avoid that mangonel shot. Would have been devastating. Slam actually changing a lot of his villagers off of farms onto other resources, also applying some pressure at the front. This is actually a fairly close game. TaToH does have to defend with these mangonels. Slam has a military lead, but TaToH's not out of the game yet. Here comes the mangonel.
Yeah, this is and another great split from Slam. I mean, Slam's micro on point right now. There you go, guys.
And another one! He gets another excellent split! Look at the splits!
Oh, jeez, this micro is so good. Slam! Oh, jeez, that is amazing.
That is nearly flawless micro.
Who said you couldn't micro in HD?
I was just about to say that. Flawless execution here from Slam, dodging almost each and every one of those mangonel shots. And I think he's going to take out both mangonels and so much of TaToH's army. God, that was such a great exchange for him. That army was boxed in and he got the maximum amount of value possible out of it.
Jeez, Slam, that was insane. That was so well done. So well done. And Slam just showing off his skills there. I mean, he's just showing off. But seriously, like, exactly what you said. He got the maximum value out of that army. It was trapped, and he could have died and done nothing. He could have died and killed some army, but he died and killed the two most valuable units that TaToH has made this game.
God, when you lose a mangonel, that is such a blow to your economy. It costs so much wood, so much gold. It might be the great equalizer, but you can't afford to lose it, and that's why we see TaToH repairing his mangonel. Slam going to back up here. I think that this is a fight that he's not necessarily comfortable taking, and I would agree. And I think that TaToH is going to back up. Meanwhile, Slam looking for another opportunity on the bottom side of the map, but TaToH comes prepared. He does have a house wall that will be very difficult for that group of archers to get through.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, I hope someone clipped that. I really hope someone clipped that. That was just fantastic micro. And just great. So seriously, since we've started casting these games, like, how good has this been?
It has been absolutely amazing. The game before this was so good, and this one features some also excellent play on both sides. TaToH slowly bringing the score gap up, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, for now, I do feel like TaToH is falling behind, though, and, you know, he's up to 3 TCs. Slam is also up on 3. But we saw this in the game versus Viper. TaToH was playing very defensively. Like, the whole game, he was just defending. He never got a chance to really push out and counterattack. And, yeah, I mean, Slam right now looking pretty good, to be honest. A castle coming out on the front here. And I think Slam won't be far off from going imp either. There you go.
What I like
nearly clicking up.
Ooh, what I like about these games with a relatively slower, more defensive opening like this is we still get action, but as the game drags on, we're more likely to see the things that make the new Rise of the Raja civilizations unique. And with the castle going down at the front for Slam to protect those 2 town centers and help him provide a little bit of pressure, we could see some ballista elephants, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I actually completely agree with you. The longer the game goes, the more unique these civilizations become. Because, you know, more of those unique units become available or viable. More unit choices and unique technologies become available as well. And it allows these civilizations to shine. Slam, clicking up to the Imperial Age now.
Nice.
And I wonder what his long game is going to be. The Khmer do not have Arbalest, so there's no use for Slam to just make crossbows all day. In fact, he's basically not using his archery ranges at all now. He has to transition into something. What is that something? That Ballista Elephant's on the way out.
I forget who pointed this out earlier. It might have been you. Ooh, that mangonel shot going to miss is that the Khmer actually have a much more limited tech tree than it's seen. Ooh, that's a good mangonel shot. Damn.
Nice shot. Yeah.
Yeah, they have seems like a relatively limited tech tree because they don't get champions, Arbalest, and Paladin, and Hussar, I believe, which is... Those are all significant losses to have. They make up for that, of course, with an incredibly powerful siege line and a very intimidating death ball with things like ballista elephants, heavy scorpions, bombard cannons, hand cannoneers, halbs, etc. But in the early Imperial Age, they don't actually have that many power units.
Yeah, I think I took a decision, and he was saying the kind of unit composition we should expect is kind of like hand cannons,
Yeah.
halbs, you know, the gunpowder. But then, you know, these elephants, I'm really interested to see how they're going to go. Slam's saving up for another castle now. He's going to place that probably right away, actually. I see his villagers here going to be moving over to place it down. And I don't know how much he's going to be able to commit. How much do these ballista elephants cost? Could you maybe check the tech tree for us? Or maybe
Oh, no, I'm going to try and do it off memory. I'm going to say 110 food and 80 gold, and the Castle Age one is 250 HP, 3 pierce armor, and 8 attack. And I'm going to check
I think that's slightly off. I think they have 6 attack. Oh, no, they do have 8 attack. My bad. Well, good remembering.
Oh, wait, did I say 110 food? Apparently it's 100.
Okay,
Alright,
so
close
it's
enough,
100
close enough. 100 food, 80 gold.
So 100 food is half of the food cost of a Persian war elephant.
Yes.
And they have just under half the HP of a Persian war elephant with the... Well, an elite war elephant has 600 health. The ballista elephant has 270, and I think it goes up to 290 at elite, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right, yes.
Really, what I want to see is this unique technology. I want to see these double shots coming out from this. It doesn't become available until Imperial. The question is, will Slam research that? Let's watch the castles closely. I don't think he's got the resources for it right now.
Okay, so this is actually a pretty cool subtle play on the part of TaToH. It did not pay off here at all, but he actually had a monk that was carrying that relic, and he dropped that relic to try and start a conversion on the ballista elephant, which is one of the ways to deal with it. It is a cavalry siege weapon, so the idea is that it carries a lot of weaknesses, but it's very, very strong in mass. That mangonel getting a lot of value here. Will it get one more shot before it dies? The answer is no.
I know what it was, but more mangonels from TaToH here. Yeah, TaToH really making good use of these mangonels in the end. And yeah, I mean, that's what matters at the end of the day. He got his value out of them eventually. But Slam here, 2 castles up, conscription coming in, trebuchet coming out. And yeah, I mean, these ballista elephants are hella tanky. Look at this. But as a result, they don't do huge damage. They do more damage to clumped up units since the projectile is going to hit more. But yeah, I mean, they're just hard to kill, and they're really going to be a nuisance more than anything, I think, as the game goes on.
Yeah, they're very, very bulky, but they only do enough damage in mass against clumped units, like you said. Conscription coming down will help him mass up those units. He's mixing in some elite skirmishers as support. We see that the ballista elephant is quite weak to mangonels. This does almost nothing to them. I think they only do like 2 damage a shot to the mangonel. TaToH will be putting down his own castle on the right side of his base. He's got the honor upgrade. This I like to see. I think he's responding to this well.
Yeah, and we said about the Burmese feeling a little like the oh wait, not the Burmese, sorry, the Malay who felt like the Vikings. So my bad there. TaToH playing as the Burmese. Let's just take a quick look at his siege line. He does not have the siege onager available, so onager is as far as he can go. But I actually do like that idea because, like you said, they're very tanky against these ballista elephants, and they're going to do a lot of damage as well.
Yeah, I think he also has the Siege Engineers upgrade, I believe, which does give them an additional 1 range on those onagers, which does help them trade with those ballista elephants. They only have 5 range, so they're quite short compared to the Heavy Scorpion, do a lot less damage, but you're making that trade-off for considerable bulk, and as he's getting them massed up, Slam is slowly reaching that threshold where these units become a colossal threat. TaToH's going to need a lot more siege to deal with this.
Absolutely. Chemistry's done as well, so they're going to be firing the flaming ballista bolt now. Not only that though, but I've noticed that TaToH's starting to get some monks going, and I mean, this is a great counter to this. Just convert them. They're slow, they don't do much damage until, I guess, they're really messed up. So go for the conversions. Now, the Burmese are a fantastic monk civ. They get 50% cheaper techs, so he's already got block printing done, which means he's got 12 range on these monks. 12 range versus 5. And I expect to see some conversions out of TaToH here. He better have his micro on top form, because I think that's what's really going to be able to turn this around for him.
Yeah, I think he's prioritizing all the relevant upgrades. You're going to need block printing here for that additional conversion range, sanctity to survive. Ballista elephants are super weak to things like camels, halberdiers, heavy cavalry, monks, siege weapons. You just need to have the appropriate counter units, and he's bringing them to the table. I love the monk choice. Here comes the hand cannoneers for support from Slam to try and take those halberdiers out of the picture, but a good onager shot could wipe that out. It's going to come down to good control because he's losing ground.
Yeah, okay, TaToH's army, I think it's fantastic. but it is going to suffer from a really high micro requirement. He has to micro each one of his individual monks. He has to land the onager shot onto the hand cannons. He's got to make sure that his halberdier are going in after the hand cannons have died, otherwise they're going to just melt. And he should probably add some more skirms, in my opinion, as well here. I mean, obviously, we already know that the skirms for the Burmese are not strong, but I think it's worth having them in there anyway. Yeah.
Well, Trebuchet with the hill advantage. That's always nice to have. So Slam's going to have to pull off quite a few villagers to hold the line there. The Treb doing 25% more damage, taking 25% less. Had a bit of a stalemate. Slam will be deploying his own trebuchets to take that one out. He's just kind of biding his time, knowing that he has a bit of a military advantage. And then TaToH trying to catch up here. Monk gets sniped in the face with a Treb shot.
I think I missed that. I think I'm about to see it now. Boom. There you go.
All right, here, I'll slow down real slightly.
Yeah, I think TaToH biding time, really. I mean, he's the one that needs to just get the army composition together and just go for it. But right now, I think what we're going to see a big battle. If Slam wins, it's game over. If TaToH wins, he could swing it right back round, but he's lost a lot of economy here. He's lost his TC, and look at this, his onagers here chasing down this army on the left side. Are they going to be able to hit the shots? That's the big question here. And is TaToH going to be able to get the engagement he wants? In fact, it's not the engagement he wants, it's the engagement he needs, otherwise he cannot win this game.
Yeah, TaToH just lost so much of his eco, and that could be the decisive factor. This army splitting off, will Slam need those military units because the fight is about to break out? Will those be good onager shots?
Well, he's using the onagers to focus on these hand cannons over here. So far, no conversions. What is TaToH doing with his Wololos here? I don't know. These onagers, they are going down, and it seems to me like Slam still doesn't have his unique technology for the additional ballista bullet. But hey, look at this. The ballista elephant's going down. The conversions,
there we go.
I guess they're kind of coming in.
Yeah, we got 2 conversions now successfully for TaToH, and even though it looks like he sustained a colossal amount of losses, I actually think that Slam splitting off some of his military units on the left side may have barely cost him that fight, because damn, it was close. And TaToH didn't even commit with all of his military units initially. If Slam had those additional troops, maybe he could have won that, because they are dying to those onagers for free right now.
Oh yeah, all of that army on the left side from Slam going down. Obviously TaToH did lose a lot of economy there, but I think TaToH, he's on the comeback. Look at this.
Yeah.
He's pushing Slam right back, and the monks really paying off here, I feel. I mean, you got to remember, okay, they didn't get many conversions, but how much healing did they do?
Right? And that's just strong. I really feel like TaToH just responded to that immaculately well. The only thing that he has to worry about is his economy sustained so many losses, but he managed to push that back against Slam, even though it looked like he was in a lot of trouble. And right now, we see one of the saddest raids I've ever seen in Age of Empires 2 on the top side of the map. Do you see that?
Yeah, I see that. You know, look at this though. They can actually destroy trees. Yes. I don't know if you've seen this, but the ballista elephant can actually destroy trees. So we saw that a second ago, one of the trees going down. See, I think instead of attacking the villagers, what Slam should do here is just attack the trees, and then TaToH will have no wood to take, and then he doesn't, you know, his villagers don't do anything anyway. Anyway, on the front line, TaToH here, pushing forward. Now, TaToH needs to hit back. He needs to hurt Slam's economy. I think he needs to get some raiding units out. I think some light cavalry would work, but he just doesn't have the food right now, and that's a big problem.
This is why I love the Burmese. They're just such a flexible civilization. I think that TaToH is really just taking full advantage of the units at his disposal. Ooh. And right now, Slam backing up the line a bit. He just does not have the military production for this. I think that the bombard cannon is a good choice as a way to try and break this stall, as well as his own defensive trebs.
Oh, I agree completely. The bombard cannon is a great choice. Look at Slam though. This ballista elephant, it's still not dead. This TC, it's taking years to kill this guy, and he's still raiding, and he's killing the trees as well.
And here comes some light cavalry.
Hey, there you go. That's going to be good. I think this is well, I don't want to say game winning, but this is really huge for Slam because he will do a lot of eco damage, I assume. Although there is a castle here, so I guess the light cavalry aren't going to hold up too much in the face of that.
Yeah, some nice castle placement on top of this hill that is almost impossible to see, as it will just shred right through those light cav, which are directly underneath that. So I think that TaToH has a pretty good static defense. What's interesting here is I feel like Slam is just missing so many upgrades in his Ballista Elephants that they're really not living up to their true potential. He has Siege Engineers now, which gives them the crucial 1 extra range, but they're not elite yet, so they're not as bulky, they don't deal as much damage, and Double Crossbow is kind of one of those things that makes the Khmer feel so strong as a civilization, so I'd love to see that come into play this game.
Yeah, I think that's one of the crucial things he's missing, and at this stage he's already lost most of his Ballista Elephant. I don't think that Slam is continuing to build those units anymore, and even if he was, I don't know how long he can sustain it for either, as the gold starts to run low for both players. So, I mean, Slam's in a good position still. I think he's just trying to focus now on kind of raiding more. Like you said, there's TaToH reasonable static defense, and now TaToH's got a little bit of map control back. He can start collecting the relics as well. And if we look at TaToH's monasteries, you can see he's only collected 1 relic so far, but he can still see them all, so he's going to want to try and grab them if he can.
I find it funny how few real military units that TaToH actually has. It's like almost exclusively siege weapons and monks. He has a couple halberdiers. Slam on the left side, he's up to something. He wants to secure that stone mine and apply a lot of pressure. These are pretty weak walls, and with some stables, a siege workshop, and a castle, should be able to eat right through them. We have to keep our eyes peeled. And on the top side, some more light cavalry coming in for raiding.
Yeah, I think it's all about getting the raiding going for Slam right now. If he engages TaToH's army head-on, he's just going to get converted, right? So you just take out TaToH's eco, then deal with the army. I think that makes a lot of sense, and I think that's why he's also put the stables next to his castle here, so he can break the walls down and go in. But TaToH could always eat away at the front of Slam's base, and we are sort of seeing that here. The trebuchets deploying, and Slam having to put a lot of villagers onto that castle to repair. This is a good play by TaToH, and I feel like if this raiding isn't too effective, then TaToH will be able to hold on for a while and maybe even push this one back.
Raiding carries a lot of meaningful drawbacks, as we can see. Slam kind of missing that military population. Raiding on the top side, raiding on the bottom side. That only works when you have enough of a means to stall without those military units at the front. You have enough of a static defense, and Slam trying to make do with what he has, but there's so many trebuchets out for TaToH. He's applying so much pressure. Slam has to repair this castle. He might barely be able to hold the line. The light cavalry are into the economy on the bottom side, too.
I think ultimately the raiding will be better because, I mean, when you raid, you directly go to your enemy's economy and you directly kill their economy. With TaToH's slow siege, he's got to break through the buildings first before he can really be a threat with this army. If TaToH was instead raiding, then, you know, he'd be killing villages of Slam right now. It's the other way around, though. You know, Slam's the one doing the raiding. He's the one getting the eco kills. And as long as he keeps his castle alive, he's stalling TaToH and he's hurting his eco at the same time.
Now, I said that TaToH had some fairly decent static defense, but he certainly does not on the left side of his base, which is where now he's sustaining a lot of losses. He's finally dropped below 200 population, and he has to put down a bunch of emergency barracks, which is going to take time away from applying pressure on the top side. Slam trying to counterattack by picking off a couple of onagers with his own light cavalry, and Slam kind of holding on if he can take out these 3 battering rams.
Actually, that was a good fight for TaToH, I think. I mean, it's always hard to weigh it up at the end. He got a few conversions, he kept an onager alive, he killed a lot of hand cannons, and he will take down that trebuchet and
he's gonna ram it
now
down.
The castle as well. This is good for for TaToH right here, but on the other side of the map, yeah, TaToH is being raided pretty hard. He's making halbs now, so he has got like that static defense once again. The halbs, of course, being that static defense now.
It's a close battle, but TaToH just barely holds on, and what really matters is that those trebs survived and Slam lost his own. Battering rams having an attack bonus versus all siege weapons allows him to take those out for free, and now Slam running out of static defense to hide behind, and as a result, he's not really going to be able to do that much raiding, and we see his raid petering out too. TaToH pushing ahead, still behind in score, of course, but he's moving the line forward.
Yeah, Slam actually doesn't have any army really here on the front anyway. He's got a few halbs coming out, and that's basically it. But I guess at the same time, where's TaToH's army? Does TaToH actually have an army here, or is it just monks and siege? I guess that is an army, right? But it's just monks and siege, and that's enough, it seems, for the time being.
Well, neither player has a particularly threatening army. The real thing that's driving this game forward are those trebs, which just have survived. Slam needs to mass up enough light cavalry to pick those off if he wants to stay in this game, even putting down a bunch of forward farms. on the left side near TaToH's
Left
base.
side. Yeah, and TaToH's going to see that and send some more halbs over there to raid it. I actually feel like TaToH is in with a real shot here. He's actually about to take the score lead, I think, for the first time this game, almost. And he's just cracked open Slam's base. He's got a free and easy path into the center of Slam's economy. But first, yeah, he's got another castle to deal with, and I have no doubt he will take that castle out as well.
Yeah, Slam just has no military units. I mean, he's looking for an opportunity to snipe those trebs. You saw that. He was moving in with those light cavalry, but immediately gets denied by a couple of halves, an Arambai, and a bunch of monks threatening to get that conversion. Another castle about to go down, and Slam falling apart at the seams. His attack in TaToH's own base is going okay, but not well enough, because he's losing his own base at the front.
Well, the problem is he doesn't have enough siege to support it yet. I mean, the cap rams are coming through, but he has started adding hand cannons now, which I think is a great choice, since the hand cannons can actually deal with these halbs, which have been working very well so far. But, I mean, this is a small portion of TaToH's economy, and TaToH, meanwhile, is really going to town on Slam's economy on the front here. I don't know how I feel about this. It's a little concerning. Even getting a good conversion on a bombard cannon there. Is TaToH going to do it? I mean, I feel like it's almost a little bit of a base race here.
It is a bit of a base race, but I think it's one that favors the player with the stronger siege line. And what I like about this game and the previous one is we really see, all the aspects of the new civilizations. And this one, it's a lot of halberdier spam on the part of TaToH, and they actually have some of the better halberdiers in the game, because in the Imperial Age, they get +3 attack for free for the Burmese. He's missing a lot of blacksmith upgrades for them, but they're still quite strong on their own.
Yeah, actually, when you think about it, that last game, we saw the Burmese as well. I think that was in the hands of Doubt, right? But it was a completely different playstyle.
Exactly.
I mean, Doubt's playstyle last game with this very same civ that TaToH's using now, hardly any crossover in the units that they've created.
And that makes me so happy.
Literally none. Yeah, I mean, this is fantastic. The only common unit that they made was Trebs and light cabs. This game, we've got mass monks, we got onagers from TaToH, and we even got the halbs as well. I like it a lot, and I feel like TaToH's really on the path to victory now, seriously. He's pushing this back on the left side, but look how much progress he's made into Slam's economy. Slam losing another TC, and he's going to lose more villas as well, or have them converted, whichever TaToH decides, I guess.
This base race is going absolutely horribly for Slam. He's trying his best to push on the left side, but losing his own base, losing all that economy. He has so many two-handed swordsmen at the back, but the Khmer don't get champions, so this will not be that strong, but maybe this will be enough to repel it. This game is not necessarily over yet. Slam only at 163 population, so all's not lost.
Into the onagers, they're taking a huge
never
amount
mind.
of damage here. Slam, though, I mean, going into two-handed swordsman, there's nothing wrong with that. But as you say, they don't get champion. This is similar to the play that Nikov made, only this time there are no opportunities to make these two-handed swordsmen free from gold cost. So I feel like at this stage, it's going to take quite some work for Slam to pull this one back. And fantastic play from TaToH, honestly.
Those two-handed swordsmen are trying to kill that ballista elephants. They're clumping up and just dying to that onager shot. All Slam needs to do is remove these siege weapons, and he just needs to finish that last onager, which he will be able to do. This buys him some time, but these are two-handed swordsmen, not champions, so they're not actually that scary in their own right. He will be pushing this back, despite missing a ton of upgrades. This game's not completely over, but TaToH still has his trebuchets, and that's what's going to seal the deal.
Yeah, not only that, but TaToH now finishing Hussar, so he's going to start raiding Slam's economy a little bit more. And also, we remember from last game that Arambai was really good at dealing with those two-handed swordsmen.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I think it might be a little late for TaToH to actually switch into Arambai now. He only has one castle as well, so maybe it's a little late for that, but I feel like he's so far ahead at this stage anyway, that he should be able to just seal the deal by raiding now, and it looks like it's going to be very effective raiding. Although saying that, he could just be about to lose all of his trebuchets right here. This is bad news.
You know you're in a good position when you force your opponent into units that are just so suboptimal for their civilization, that are missing all these upgrades. And two-handed swordsmen for the Khmer are one of them. They're really, really weak, and yet they're still repelling this push. If all these trebs go down, that's going to really slow down TaToH's momentum, and maybe give Slam a fighting chance?
Maybe. I mean, 800 gold lost for TaToH there, but I think he can afford to replenish that, because he is starting to grab more relics now, I think. he has got 3 now. And I think he would go for the others if they weren't so far into Slam's base. I imagine he'll grab this one soon on the right side. But
So many villagers are dying. Do you see that?
Yeah. Yeah. Everywhere. They're just getting destroyed. They're vacating this farmland and just being chewed up by the Hussar. At this stage, I mean, the Hussar even work against the two-handed swordsman. They're comparable.
The trebuchets are just carrying this game, and since Slam lost his town center to TaToH's Trebs, he had no place to hide his economy inside that town center, and he tried to build another one, but actually TaToH was standing on top of the building foundation. Now Slam is dropping to dangerously low amount of villagers. He's at 120 pop compared to 190, and this is when I think the game could be very much close to over. I just saw Cavalry Archer created as a notification. Is someone making Cav Archers?
On the left side, Slam made a couple. I don't know if that was a misclick, though, because, yeah, I mean, Cavalry Archers are a little underwhelming when they are so expensive. He is, yeah, just making hand cannons again. I think it was a misclick, but, I mean, if you look at the progress that TaToH made this game versus the progress of Slam, Slam tried something on the left side. He got a little ways in, and then he was repelled. TaToH is just cleaning house. Slam is just being completely gutted here, and TaToH is going for that relic as well on the right side, so it won't be long before he's got 4 and maybe 5 if he gets this one down here, which could be doable. For now, though, Slam starting to add more pikes, and just real quick, I do want to check the tech tree for Slam, so you guys can see what the barracks looks like for him. He doesn't have the champions, and going across to the blacksmith, he actually does have +2 defense and +4 attack. But it's failing to get a lot of those upgrades so far.
In fact, both players actually failing to get a lot of upgrades. Oh, it looks like TaToH finally has Iron Casting, and once he gets Blast Furnace, we will get those 6+7 attack Halberdiers, which is one of the stronger aspects of the Burmese in the later stage. Slam making units that are very, very weak for the Khmer, and yet he's still miraculously holding the line. I think one of the things that's making this match so interesting is that it's not a mirror match, so I really like to see this, and somehow the game is not over yet.
Oh no, Slam on the way back. He's actually got a reasonably sized army, but he's missing these upgrades. He just doesn't have the gold at this stage to afford them, and you know, he could have grabbed a couple of relics. He didn't, and his gold income is nil right now. It is not going up, and there is no more gold left to take. So Slam gonna be falling short, I feel, to this kind of war of attrition. He might try and sell some resources at the market, but he hardly has a surplus of anything. Currently sitting at 150 population, while TaToH is at 180, and certainly does have a little more income of resources at this stage.
The Burmese
he
might
still wants
have
this gold as well.
That he does, as we're in the later stage of the game, where it boils down to a trash war, where people try to take advantage of their halberdiers, light cavalry, as well as their elite skirms, and even though the Burmese have elite skirms with only padded archer armor, they have absolutely excellent halberdiers. They have respectable hussars, and really the Khmer just kind of fall flat in that regard. Really just not making units that are strong for that civ. He is taking this fight on a hill, getting absolutely shredded by this watchtower. He will be able to kill that onager, I think, but he's lost most of his army in that fight.
Yeah,
and his castle on the bottom.
Were huge. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Those onagers were huge for TaToH there. And on the bottom side, I thought Slam had a good hold, but TaToH actually pushed that back. Slam just running his army into this hold from TaToH. He ran them uphill. He ran them into onagers. He ran them into superior upgraded units. And look at that. 6+7 on TaToH's halberdier right now. It's fantastic for him. And he's going to go put a castle there to secure this gold as well. And the stone. At this stage, it could even be worth for TaToH to take the stone and sell it at the market for a bit of extra gold. But he's doing just 5 for gold, it seems, whilst Slam is starved, to say the least.
Slam just has no good answer to those trebuchets, and he's slowly getting starved out, not able to make units which he can take full advantage of. And as the game drags on, it just favors TaToH more and more. TaToH going straight for those back farmers. Not too much that can actually defend them. Those pikemen only have +1 attack, +2 defense. Not very threatening versus fully upgraded hussars. And now TaToH has Blast Furnace, 6+7 attack halberdiers. This is quite strong.
Yeah, 6+7. That is that's a huge amount of damage right there. And even these two-handed swordsmen, which typically counter these units, yeah, they're not going to counter them as hard as they once did. The upgrades for Slam really hurting him now as this game goes on. Every single unit he creates is outclassed And that's not a good position to be in when you're down to 120 population and your economy is just in ruin at this stage. So TaToH really pushing this now. He's cleared out this left-hand side. There's going to be no more raiding, so he can focus his attention in just a couple of places. And the power is in TaToH's hands. He gets to choose where he wants to engage. He gets to force the fight, and he gets to choose to finish this game if he wants right now.
Yeah, it looked like Slam was almost threatening a comeback there, but it's just too little too late, unfortunately, for him. He does not have the upgrades, he does not have the tech tree or military units for a situation like this. TaToH has almost complete map control, and that one disastrous engagement kind of just crushed his dreams of coming back in this one. Some siege weapons in the middle of the map are left unescorted and will die relatively for free, which is a little victory. But Slam's economy is still being pressured everywhere, and if he has no breathing room to actually stockpile any resources, he won't be able to come back in the game.
Yeah, I mean, Slam has no units on TaToH's side of the map right now, whilst TaToH, you see the little red blobs all throughout Slam's economy. This is game over for Slam, and there's no question about it now. Of course, this is an elimination game, like we said, so if Slam does lose, he will be eliminated from the tournament, finishing in 7th/8th place, and I think that was it. Dear Lord, what a throw, he says. GG. He calls it, and Slam really feels like he threw that game.
It's really nice of Slam to wish TaToH some excellent good luck for the rest of the tournament. What a really, really good game on the part of both players. I feel like Slam had some absolutely immaculate play early on, especially with his crossbow micro. But towards the end of the game, that one disastrous engagement ended up costing him, and TaToH just had full control, able to attack wherever he needed, and Slam just slowly fell apart. What a very, very good game.
Oh, absolutely. I think TaToH was in a really bad position for a very long time. Slam's micro, though, oh, what a great play by him. And, it just goes to show how hard TaToH fought that game back. Because Slam, he played very, very well. Like you say, he played so well in the early game, but it just kind of fell apart as time went by. And once again, the relics for TaToH really giving him that late game sustainability that you really need.
Yeah, the relics are making a very large impact on this game, particularly for the Burmese players, as they are able to collect them very easily because they can see their locations on the map. I just feel like Slam was shoehorned into making units that were just not strong for his civilization, and over time, TaToH got to build a steady incremental lead and push back. Great to see some Ballista Elephants in this game. The only thing left is to see perhaps some Battle Elephants or the Vietnamese.
Yeah. I actually do think that the Ballista Elephants were a bit underwhelming, but we spoke about this earlier, and I think we both agree that Slam just missed the crucial upgrades to make them really shine. If he had got the double crossbow, and if he had upgraded them to elite, I think he would have done more, but I think he was scared, He saw the monks from TaToH, and he didn't want to risk just upgrading his units and then having them taken away from him and then used against him even, which is a real problem if you get converted. Yeah. So real quick, we've got 45 seconds before we throw it over to Nilford here for some analysis. There's the achievements for you on the military. TaToH with a clear units killed advantage and a much larger army. Eco-wise, he did have the bonus gold in the end, or the additional gold, and that's because he had 2,200 additional relic gold versus Slam. And there's the timeline as well, if anyone's interested in that. Anything that stands out to you about the achievements, or any closing thoughts?
Well, like you mentioned, I think the relic gold was certainly significant, and overall, it was just a close game. Great to see the units converted for TaToH. I think he responded very well to that initial push by Slam, and overall, just a GG.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so we're going to throw it over to Nilford now. He's going to go ahead and do some analysis for us. We'll see you shortly.